Hi there, my name is Wendy Cranford with STAMPIN, and I am so excited that you're here with me today. We are going to talk a little bit about card making for beginners. In today's video, you can expect to see beginning card maker tools and the things that I recommend every card maker own in their stash, even if you're just starting out. But if you have been a card maker for a while, there might be some products you see today that interest you as well. In part 2 of the video, I'm going to show you how to just make a really basic, simple card using just a few supplies. So get ready to make a cute card and go over some fun products. If you have any questions for me, you can always drop them in the comment below this video, and I can always be reached at wendy@lovinstampin.com. Remember that Lovin is spelled with a U and not an O, and you can also reach me through the contact link on my blog, which is lovinstampin.com. Now, I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so several of the supplies I'm going to share with you today are Stampin' Up! Products. I love these products, and the reason that I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator is simply because I love the products so much. They are high quality, awesome products that I stand by, but I also have found that for me and my personality, starting with Stampin' Up! Has been a blessing because there are so many products out there on the market. It can get really overwhelming at trying to decide what you should have and shouldn't have. The most fantastic thing about Stampin' Up! That stands out in the industry is the fact that they have color coordination. So as you can see behind me here, I have some beautiful ink pads, and right next to them are ink refills. And we'll get into that a little bit more in the video. But there's also things like ribbon and markers and paper and cardstocks that all match and coordinate beautifully, and that is what made me fall deeply in love with Stampin' Up! Product. I don't like to have to search for different things to go with different things. I'm a busy mom, and for me, it works best for everything to just coordinate, and I can purchase it all in one spot. So ultimately, that is why I am so dedicated to Stampin' Up! The second reason I'm so dedicated to Stampin' Up! Is because I have found that the supplies and the tools that I use with Stampin' Up! Are very high quality, and I don't ever seem to have any issues with any of them. And as we go through this video today, I will talk just a little bit about, supplies that maybe are on the less expensive end. I also will be showing you a few supplies that I use in my craft room that are not Stampin' Up! And yes, that is the case. There are a few items that I use that are not Stampin' Up! Products, but I highly recommend that every single person who makes cards have in their stash. Now, with all of that being said, I want to share with you that it is important to me for you to know that while I do earn a living with Stampin' Up!, it is not my desire to share products with you simply for you to buy them. Ultimately, what I want is for every person who has a love for card making or paper crafting to just purchase products that make them happy. I think you'll find that there are several Stampin' Up! Products that will make you very, very happy. Maybe you don't buy all of them from me, but maybe you buy products that you love from different companies, and that's okay too. I'm here to be honest and transparent with you about all the products I use and my love for them. So I'm gonna get ready to show you all those things. We're gonna turn you down to my stamp desk, and we will go through this video sharing with you some awesome tips for beginning card makers. Okay, the first thing I wanna share with you today is my Stampin' trimmer. Now, everybody who makes cards should have some sort of paper trimmer. The reason I like Stampin' Up's trimmer, there's a few things. First and foremost is that it's got dual blades. So here is a scoring blade, which really isn't a blade because it doesn't cut, it scores your cardstock, but then we also have a cutting blade. So this is great because this tool actually kind of doubles in your craft room for two different uses. The other thing I love about Stampin' Up's tool is that it goes all the way out to 17 inches. So if you were to have a piece of cardstock that was much larger than a normal 12 by 12, you could still use this to measure and cut. And the arm comes out nicely like this. The back of the trimmer has these nice little padded feet, so it's nice and soft, and it sticks to your surface so that it doesn't wiggle around all over the place. It has this nice bar that lifts up and down, just like this. And there is a ruler that goes along the bar here along with the ruler that goes across the top. Now, if you're one of those people that likes to cut at the bottom, there's a ruler across here too. It just isn't going to extend past about a 5-inch mark, okay? So for this, I recommend, you know, you can cut any paper or cardstock in it. This is a piece of basic white thick cardstock from Stampin' Up, and we'll talk a little bit more about this cardstock in a minute. But you can see, I'm just gonna cut this at 4 1/4 inches. It just cuts beautifully. You can purchase replacement blades so that when this one goes dull, you can replace it. And then obviously we have the scoring tool that I just talked about. So we'll just do a quick score line here. And then you can see that makes it so it's nice and easy to bend your cardstock. So this is one of my very favorite tools. I use it every single time I create, and I literally could not make cards and be in my craft room without this tool. So this is my most highly recommended tool. If you don't have a Stampin' trimmer, paper trimmer, I highly recommend getting one. The next tool that is one of my favorites in my craft room that I use all the time are my paper snips. Now you may be thinking, oh, these just look like regular scissors. These scissors are extremely sharp, and I find that it's super necessary to have extremely sharp scissors in your craft room. I like to put a little charm on them so that if I am traveling or going somewhere and I take my scissors with me and I'm at an event with other crafters, they know that these are mine. And I also sometimes put my initials on the scissors. These scissors come with a nice little guard. I don't have one here with me, but they come with a guard normally so that if you are traveling, it is guarded and you don't have to worry about the scissors stabbing into anything. It's a little plastic sheath that just covers this part of your scissors. So scissors that are really sharp and fit nicely in your hand are a really important tool to have in your craft room. I highly recommend having a pair of good scissors for beginning card makers. The next tool that's absolutely necessary for a beginning card maker are clear blocks. You have to have clear blocks in order to use what we call cling mount stamps. So basically any stamp these days, they don't really come on wood blocks anymore from any company that I know of, because obviously using wood blocks is a little bit harder on the environment, and it also takes up a lot of space in your craft room for storage. When you make a purchase of these beautiful clear blocks, they're just easy to store in your craft room. In fact, I have them on my desk in a little container I found at Staples, and I just put them in here, and you can see I have multiples of the same size. You don't really need multiples of the same size if you're doing this as a hobby. Since I do this as a business, I like to have a lot of extra clear blocks on hand. So if I'm creating for classes or events, I can have stamps that just sit on the clear blocks out of the way. So if you check out the Stampin' Up website, which is linked below. There's a link to my online store. You can get these in a full collection. You can get these just one at a time if you want to build your collection slowly. And Stampin' Up also has a carrying case for all of these. So my number one recommendation for the size you should get starting out is the D, clear block D. And you can see it's lettered right here. Hopefully you can see that. And on the other side, it says Stampin' Up. Now, the thing I love about Stampin' Up clear blocks is they have a beveled edge. There are a lot of stamp clear blocks on the market. And one of the things I have found is most of them have a straight, flat edge, which makes it kind of hard for them to grip. The great thing about these clear blocks is you can grip them really, really well because your fingers just fit very nicely into this little beveled grooved edge here. And then you can stamp and hold on to your block really easily. I actually have a friend who works for me, and she has mentioned how much she loves clear blocks from Stampin' Up as compared to other companies because she used to have other companies' clear blocks. Now, other companies might have a little bit lower price point. However, I feel that the standard of quality is much higher with Stampin' Up's clear blocks. So I highly recommend, you really have to have one of these, at least one, to get started stamping. So this is the other product that I recommend you have in your room or your craft area immediately. Okay, the next thing I want to share with you is a stamp pad. Now, Stampin' Up stamp pads are very basic. They flip open like this and slide shut, and I love them. There's a label that you can put right here on the inside so that when your stamp set is open, or stamp pad is open, you're able to see the color that you're stamping in case you have several out all at once. And then it just pulls away like this and folds back over and clips shut. The thing I love about Stampin' Up! Ink pads is that the ink pad itself is stored upside down on closure, so your ink always stays drawn to the top of the ink pad. This is really important because it helps keep your ink pad nice and moist and your ink to always stay at the top. The other thing I love about Stampin' Up! Ink pads is that you can purchase refills for them. So, for example, this is a Pacific Point refill. You don't really ever have to replace this ink pad unless it were to get damaged somehow. You just take this refill and you put it in the ink pad and you're ready to go again. So you don't ever have to worry about purchasing this again unless it got damaged, or every once in a while an ink pad will go bad, but it's pretty rare. So if you just take your ink and re-ink it, you're good to go. The other thing that I love is you have this open palette. So if your ink pad is closed, you can squeeze the ink pad together. It will push ink onto this palette, and you can lay this ink pad open to use with paintbrushes or other items to do watercoloring and different things like that. That's a little bit of an advanced technique, but it's definitely a huge benefit of a Stampin' Up! Ink pad. So we'll close that. The next thing I have to show you, since we're talking about clear blocks and ink pads, is my cleaner. This is the Stampin' Scrubber. I love this tool. It's my very favorite for cleaning my ink pads. my stamps, excuse me. When you ink up your stamps, you need to clean them before you put them away. This is really important because it helps the stamp stay good for a really long time. So really your stamps should never go bad. They should work forever. But if you don't make sure to clean them, it can erode them over time. I like the Stampin' Mist spray. And when this gets about half full of the spray, I just refill it with water and it keeps going. So that's a little extra tip for you. You don't have to replace this as soon as you might think. The cool thing about the Stampin' Scrub is it has these little raindrops right here and a little sunshine here. That lets you know this side is supposed to stay wet when you're cleaning your stamps, and this side is to dry your stamps and then you can put it away. So this is a must in my craft room. Now, if you didn't want to spend the money to get these, and if you're just starting out with stamping, this is something that you probably can wait on. And what I would tell you is to use baby wipes. Use baby wipes to clean up. They're really inexpensive. You can keep them handy in your craft room anywhere. And for years, I used baby wipes. So don't be afraid if you're limited on your budget of what to purchase when you're first starting out. This one might be a little bit lower on your list. Instead, use those baby wipes for a while and add this to a wish list for the future. Okay, the next thing I want to share is adhesives. These are my 3 favorite Stampin' Up! Adhesives. I use these all of the time. So these are Stampin' Dimensionals, and they are just little hexagons that have foam, and they're sticky on both sides. So you can peel this away, and when you're putting something on your card and you use this, it's going to create dimension and pop it up from the card base just a little bit. This is tear and tape adhesive, and it is extremely sticky, but the thing I love about it is it just tears just like that. And this is great for 3D cards or for boxes, things that you might paper craft that need a little more extra sturdy adhering. And then of course we've got our multi-purpose glue. It has 2 ends. So there's a pointed end or a fine tip and a broad tip where you can squeeze and kind of smear. Both of these work fantastically, and I love this glue. I like to store it upside down with the fine tip upside down, and I store it that way with this little cute guy here. If you're interested in purchasing this, this is not a Stampin' Up! Product, but my dear friend Sandra makes these, and I will provide an email link to her below this video so that if you want one of these, you can get them, but I like to store mine upside down. If you don't have one of these and you don't want to buy one, a cheap way to do this is to just find an old shot glass, or maybe use little vase or something to just hold them upside down. Okay, the next two tools I want to show you that I feel like every card maker should have is a bone folder and a take your pick tool. The bone folder is literally just this nice solid piece of bone that is carved out. On this side, there is a Stampin' Up! Logo. Mine is rubbed off because that shows you how often I use this, probably every single time I make a project. And what the bone folder is used for is when you fold a piece of cardstock, you then take this nice hard edge and you're able to run it across there and make the fold even that much better. The other thing I like to use the bone folder for is if I'm making a box or another project and I put adhesive inside of a box, I can reach in the box and kind of flatten it down like that and adhere things together better. These are not that expensive and they are a tool that I really recommend. This side of the bone folder, you'll see it says, I am a lovely stamper. This is engraved on here, and this is for anyone who's part of my lovely stamper community. When you're part of my lovely stamper community, you receive this bone folder as a gift after you've been part of the community for a little time. So this is just the one that I grab and use the most because I really like using one that's special just for my community that is my stamping community. Okay, this is the take your pick tool. This end is sticky. There's a little green adhesive that comes out. It's not really adhesive. It's just like a putty and it is nice and sticky and it allows you to pick things up. This is too heavy, but it allows you to pick small things up with it. So like this, for example, it'll pick it up and then you can place it on your card and you can use this end if you wanted to place it really well and pull it off. Okay, it also comes with both of these attachments. This is a scoring tool attachment and what they call a stylus, and it just slips in and then locks into place. But this attachment is my very favorite. This has a spatula on one side and a pokey tool, for lack of a better word, on the other side. And I like to use both of these interchangeably depending on what I'm working on. And I love this tool. The price point is great on it. It's simple to use. It's a great tool to have in your craft room and it covers a lot of bases. One of the other tools I like to have in my craft room that is Stampin' Up! Is Post-it note tape. This tape is a removable tape that is not very sticky, and so you can use it right on cardstock for masking and doing other things and holding things in place and pull it right off, and you're not going to have it tear your cardstock. This can be found on Amazon, and there is a link below the video for this. Okay, so some very obvious things we haven't talked about yet for a card maker is cardstock. Now, one of the things I recommend when you're just starting out would be to purchase one of Stampin' Up's packs of cardstock that has several colors in it, and I'm going to show that to you. Okay, so now we have the Brights collection. As of the time I'm recording this, this is the current Brights collection offering with Stampin' Up. And this is basic white thick cardstock. Now the reason I'm showing you the Brights collection is because it happens to be my very favorite. So Stampin' Up! Sells packs of paper cardstock in packs just like this, where you get 2 of each color. This is what I recommend for beginners because it gives you the opportunity to get every color, but you get to decide which ones are your favorite. So I want to show you really quickly here in the catalog. This is the current catalog with Stampin' Up! And these change every year. There's an annual catalog, which changes yearly, and a spring, January through June mini catalog, and a holiday or fall, July through December catalog. So those are the 3 catalogs Stampin' Up! Offers. So here you can see at the time of recording this, the Brights collection comes with 20 sheets, 2 each, which is a total of 10 colors, and it's $9 a piece. So you get all of these pieces of cardstock. They're very nice, very high quality, thick, heavy cardstock. And then you also can purchase packs of every individual color in a big pack like this. This is 24 sheets of exactly the same color, which is basic white thick. And so if you loved Gorgeous Grape, you could purchase an entire package of just Gorgeous Grape cardstock. This is what comes in really handy when you're making something like invitations or birthday party favors or thank you cards, and you want to just repeat the same thing over and over and over. You can buy a nice big pack of cardstock all at once, and it will last you for quite a while. So this is the Brights collection, which is my very favorite. And in the catalog with Stampin' Up, you will see that all of the collections of colors are laid out, and you can purchase cardstock, ink pads, ink refills, and some of them have blend combo packs, which is like a marker, an alcohol-based marker. We're not going to talk about those today because I think for this video, we're going to stick very beginner, basic. So you've got your cardstocks here, and these are high quality, good cardstocks. You might think, well, why can't I just go to a big box store, purchase any sort of paper, and call it a day? You can. If that's what you want to do, please do so. But if you want to be a card maker that has a really high quality end product, and you want your craftsmanship to match the effort you put in, I always recommend purchasing a high quality cardstock. The Stampin' Up! Basic White Thick cardstock is my favorite white cardstock. Like I said, it's thick, so it's a heavier weight than these cardstocks over here, and it makes a beautiful card base. So I'm just going to open one here, and I want to just show you two of the most basic card bases and how to cut them. So to start, you're just going to take a full piece of 8.5 by 11 inch cardstock. You'll put it into your paper trimmer, and if you want two card bases that are top folding landscape size, you're going to cut at 5.5 inches, and then you can score at 4 1/4. And then of course you'll fold and use that bone folder we talked about earlier to give you that nice crisp fold. Okay. Now if you want, and that gives you two, so one sheet gives you two card bases that are a regular A2 size card, which you'll hear card makers refer to often. If you want a portrait style card that's top folding, you'll place your cardstock in and cut it 4 1/4. Now, if you know for sure you want to use both sides for a card base, I want to show you a little trick. You can put your cardstock in the other way at 5.5 inches, which is in half, and score it. Then turn your cardstock and cut at 4 1/4. And now you have two card bases that are already scored and ready to go. The other thing I want to show you that's a really quick, easy trick is whenever you score, you want to fold your cardstock towards the bumped side or the debossed side, or excuse me, embossed side. So you're folding away from the debossed side and into the embossed side, and that will just give you a nicer fold on your edge. And then you can just use that bone folder again, and you've got this beautiful top folding card base. So there are the two basic card bases and how to cut them and how to score them. Thank you so much for watching. We didn't get around to making a card today because this video got pretty long, but I have over 1,000 videos on YouTube showing you how to make all types of different cards. So you can check those out there. If you want to shop with me, shop loveandstampin.com, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.